Hello everyone. In message 4, we covered the topic of Moses. And the first thing we need to realize about Moses is that he represents the type of person that we can be today to be God's H-turners. And so, what was so special about Moses? Well, the first thing was that he was a man trained in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. And what that means is that he received the highest education available on the earth at that time. And that education enlarged his capacity, increased his capability to the point where God could use him to write the first 187 chapters of the Bible. Talk about being useful to God. Now, the second point about Moses is that he was a man who was dealt with according to his natural ability. So while Moses was tending to sheep for 40 years in the wilderness, what he learned was that despite how capable he was, despite how strong he was in his natural ability, he had to learn to lay that aside, humble himself, and depend on God as the burning fire within him. The third thing about Moses is that he was God's companion. This means he was not only God's friend, he was not only God's servant, but he was a person who knew God's own heart, to the point where when God was burning in anger and wanted to destroy the children of Israel for worshiping the golden calf, Moses could remind God that he loved his people and that he didn't want to destroy them. Now, the last point about Moses was that he was a man who was faithful in building up God's dwelling place. This means that when it came to the building up of the tabernacle, Moses was careful to follow every single little detail that God gave to him, from the image of the golden lampstand that had to be beaten into shape, to the fine little strands that had to be used in all the linen cloths. Moses was faithful to follow God's instruction. And so, if you'd like to read more about Moses, you can click in the link below, or maybe you could just ask your friend in CSOC. Let's all be today's Moseses.